Okay, there is a change of hands, a change of headship at Thermax. Ashish Bhandari succeeds MS Unnikrishnan as the Managing Director and CEO, and Mr. Bhandari joins us now to talk about his vision for Thermax. Good morning to you, Mr. Bhandari. Thank you very much for joining us, and many congratulations. Well, you're of course taking over at a very difficult time. I think when we spoke to Mr. Unnikrishnan after the first quarter, he said the incremental orders were just around 600 crores. How have the weeks since June 30th been? In July and August, were things any better?
Dear Sonia, dear Lata, first thank you very much for your warm welcome, and it's my pleasure to be here. Unni was right. We had a very difficult first quarter of the year, as did most companies here. April, May were very, very silent with very little business. In subsequent weeks, every week was better than the previous one. And I would say July, August have both been trending in the right direction. September, being the third month of the quarter, is most critical to see if that trend holds or whether that was just initial pent-up demand after the lockdowns opened. So trending in the right direction, September's key.
Okay. Could you put a number to it? I mean, how much better than first quarter or how much less than a year ago?
So I would say if you take a look at our last quarter's number, we were at 50% of where we finished the year before. That number's continuing to improve, but we are still not where we were last year. Yep. So I would say 75 to 80% in July and August is the right number. September, as I said, is the key month to see if the trend continues to get better or not.
Sure. Okay, so demand has reached 75% of the pre-COVID levels. That's good to hear. There's an improvement. Mr. Bhandari, good morning. When we spoke to Mr. Unnikrishnan last, he did indicate to us that there are a lot of challenges that continue to persist, whether it is labor shortages or even limited availability of vendors to supply. Have all of those challenges been ironed out?
Not all of them. I think just like the demand is starting to get to 75 to 80%, and I would caveat that by saying that September will be a key month. Even on the supply side, things are trending better. Almost all of our sites, and by all I mean 95% plus of all our sites where we do commissioning work, O&M support work, are all up and running. All our factories are up and running. But the capacity utilization at these factories is still below norm. And I would use that same 75 to 80% number again. And this is due to a mix of social distancing that we are following at all our plants, making sure that safety norms are followed, the ability of our MSME vendors to be able to supply, and most importantly, the ability of our customers to be able to execute their portions of the project on time. So the system overall is getting better, but not where it needs to be for us to say things are normal.
Your prime problem is supply, ability to produce, or demand?
I think right now both are at that same number.
Okay.
So even if there was significantly more demand, we would still be constrained on the supply side. And I said the factors that we have here. We are doing microzoning at our plants. We are still very, very careful on social distancing, how plants are staffed. We had a case in Pune where after one or two cases at a plant, we took the decision to shut the entire plant for a week to have any sort of spread because of any of our actions. So safety continues to be paramount, and that will limit an ability to deliver to some extent.
Sure. Can you give us some color on where you're seeing inquiries pick up in terms of different segments, whether it is food and beverages, chemicals, the pharma sector? Over the next couple of months, where do you see the recovery come through from?
I think you named the three sectors right there. Yeah, food, pharma, chemicals are the three sectors from which we are getting strong inquiries, almost at historic levels, even in these current times. Beyond this, there are quite a few projects in sectors where there are large projects, in many cases driven by government initiatives, which are all carry forward from before COVID. Yes, so projects that were financed, funded, and partly ordered for, many of those projects are now getting active as well. So while the big projects will still be dominated by power and oil and gas, we are seeing a very good new set of inquiries from food, pharma, chemicals. Those are the three sectors.
Are exports better than Indian inquiries or the other way around?
Actually, both. On the food, pharma, chemicals specifically, I'm talking about the Indian sector. Beyond that, I think globally as well, Southeast Asia, Africa, US, demand is picking up as well.
Okay, Mr. Bhandari, a final question to you. Anything that you want to tweak in terms of the vision for Thermax? Anything you would do different?
Nothing at all. I think the company, first thing I would say is the legacy of Unnikrishnan is extremely strong. Yeah, we're going through a very challenging period, but you can see a couple of things that about the company that jump out. First, the very, very sound capital structure of the company gives us a very strong treasury to work with. The cash flows are still under control. We have not had to borrow down or do anything that other companies may otherwise be looking at. So that gives us a big position of strength. We have to continue that. Second is the overall ability and the capability to continue to generate cash. Yes, so the ability to connect profits to cash is something Thermax has done very well in the past as well. So we would like to continue to do that. Where we have to find new areas is on figuring out consistent opportunities for new profitable growth. And where the world is going towards the energy transition, the need for clean water, clean air, clean energy, that is something that Thermax can take advantage of, and connecting Thermax to where the world is going is something we can do more of in the future.
Right. Okay, all the very best, Mr. Bhandari, for your innings at the helm of Thermax. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, well, the markets are opening absolutely a cat on the wall.